Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. Today, I got a pretty interesting episode for you guys, so you want to stick around and listen to some of the things that we got to say here today. But before we get into it, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Anyway, so let me get into this topic here. So we all are fully aware of the drama that's surrounding Kyrie Irving and the Nets. We all know this, right? We know that the situation is degenerating very quickly, rapidly, right? Degenerating, and he recently came out and made some comments. We're publishing another video. Obviously depends on when you guys are seeing these videos and which order and all of these different things. And we know that some people out there are recommending that the Brooklyn Nets find a way to trade him to another team, right? Well, we all know how difficult that's going to be, and it has nothing to do with his talent or his play on the court. Last year, in my opinion, Kyrie, or not just in my opinion, according to the numbers as well, Kyrie Irving had his best statistical year of his entire NBA career. Last season, the guy averaged 27 points per game, 6 assists, 4.8 rebounds. He shot 50.6% from the field, 40.2% from the three-point line, 92.2% from the free throw line, and he basically had a 50-40-90 season, and he did all of that in 54 games. Kyrie Irving is one of the most efficient offensive basketball players that we have in the world today. Those are extraordinary numbers. And it's even more impressive when you watch him put those numbers together on the court, because he is sensational to watch as a basketball player, electrifying, immensely entertaining. But the problem with Kyrie Irving is this: you just don't know what he's going to do. You just don't know what he's going to do because he seems to be very, very unpredictable. This seems to be the knock on him. So yesterday I was listening to a segment on First Things First with Nick Wright and Chris Broussard. And Nick Wright made an interesting suggestion to the Nets. He said he thinks that the Nets should trade him to a potential team. And who is that potential team that he thinks he should trade him to? The Los Angeles Clippers. He made some other recommendations, but that was the first one. So before I go too far, I want you guys to take a listen to his package that he thinks he could offer, the package that he thinks could work in order for the Clippers to say, yes, we want this trade. Take a listen to this here.
And what I was told then is that when the Nets were shopping Kyrie, KD said, okay, I'm fine with that. And I didn't report it at the time, but to me, this move confirms that. Because they do not do this if Kevin Durant says, do not do this. But Kevin Durant understood what Broussard understood, what I understood, which is you can't win this way. With Harden and Kevin Durant, if you get the right breaks, you can go win the title. That's better than the alternative. But this is, to me, Broussard, only step one. Step two for the Nets, if they really want to turn the page, is find a team that is not turned off by Kyrie's threat to retire and trade him. And there are trades out there that'll work. You're going to end up getting 30 cents on the dollar, but the Nets actually maybe could use some coins instead of a dollar bill. They maybe could use Marcus Morris and, from the Clippers, you could do Morris, Batum, and Reggie Jackson for Kyrie Irving. And the LA Vax mandate's weird. Staples Center says it's exempt for it because the Nets don't need stars and scorers. They need role players. If you wanted to do a 1-for-1 and you want to send them a place you know will never have a vaccine mandate, how about the state of Texas? How about your kind of problem for my kind of problem? Kyrie for Kristaps. That's interesting. Hey, Kyrie, you won a championship playing with LeBron. Luka's the closest thing we've ever had to LeBron as far as stylistically. I would at least listen. I think that's intriguing. I would call the Pelicans. Jonas Valanciunas, Josh Hart, Devontae Graham for Kyrie. I would call. Because what the Nets need is role players and lack of distractions. Now, you're not going to get Ben Simmons, Broussard. That's gone. That is, somehow, Kyrie has made it to where his value is precipitously lower than Ben Simmons. It's an amazing magic trick he pulled, but he's done it. But step one was sending him home. Step two is trading him. And from what I've been told and from this, you're not going to get pushback from Harden and Kevin Durant if you do that. But you just have to find a team that isn't threatened by the fact that he has said, I'll retire if you trade.
So basically in that soundbite, Nick Wright basically made this proposal, and he made a 3-player proposal. And I'm sure he took his salaries into consideration. I didn't go that far into it. He said the Clippers could trade away Marcus Morris Sr., Nicholas Batum, and Reggie Jackson, and they should trade all 3 of these players to get Kyrie Irving. Now, anyone who followed the Clippers last season will tell you these 3 players played a huge role in the success that team ultimately experienced before they got knocked out in the Western Conference Finals. For those of you guys who are unaware, I'm fully aware, Marcus Morris Sr. was the number 2 3-point shooter in the NBA last season. He shot 47.5% from the 3-point line. And I know some people are going to say, wait a minute, I went to NBA.com and I looked up 3-point percentage. Yeah, there's some guys that average, it took like 10 3-pointers and had a higher free throw. There's some guys that shot 100, 75 threes and shot a higher. I think the NBA is looking at a number. If you take a certain amount of threes, that may be over 200, 150, then they count you. If you take 5 threes and you make all 5 of them and you shoot 100% from the year, you that's the best 3-point shooter in the NBA. No, he was a number 2 3-point shooter in the NBA. That's number 1. He's a hell of a player. He's a great defensive player. He's a tough guy. I love that about him. And he's just a baller. He has a mid-range game. He could post you up. He's just a baller, Marcus Morris Sr. I love that dude. That's actually probably one of my favorite Clippers on that team, apart from Kawhi Leonard. Then you have Nicholas Batum, who Nick Wright wrote off, by the way, when the Clippers first acquired him. Well, was laughing at them for getting Nicholas Batum. Nick Wright now is saying, no, you should trade him. He's like the Draymond Green of that team. He's a glue guy, right? He's a guy that plays. He's a great playmaker. He knows how to put players in positions to be successful. He can rebound the ball. He can play defense. And oh, by the way, he shot over 40% from the 3. Then you have Reggie Jackson, Mr. June. If anybody followed the playoffs, you know how well Reggie Jackson played last year in the playoffs. And I was one of the people that were down on him throughout the regular season, but ultimately I had to give him his props and apologize to him that, listen, this guy, he really shut me up, right? And he shot 43% from the 3-point line last season. In the playoffs, he averaged 18 points per game, 48% from the floor. He shot 41% from the 3 and 88% from the free throw line. And my question is, the Clippers will do this because of what, please? Why would the Clippers do this? The Clippers just made it to the Western Conference Finals without their best player, Kawhi Leonard, who got injured in the second round. So the Clippers would now say, you know what? We made it to the Western Conference Finals without our best player in round 3. You know what we're going to do? We're going to trade away all of these pieces that we saw exactly what they can give us. We're going to trade that away to the Brooklyn Nets and get Kyrie Irving, where we don't know what the hell this guy's going to do. We're going to do that because what? We want to win? No. Let me tell you what Nick Wright was trying to do. Nick Wright was trying to weaken the Clippers because he knows the Clippers are going to beat the Lakers. He is fully aware of that. So what he's trying to do is take the Clippers off the board. That's all he's trying to do. Nobody in the Clippers front office would ever entertain such an idiotic proposal. Why would they do it? Nice try, Nick, but some of us saw straight through you. Go find another sucker. Clippers ain't going for that. They're not going for that. They were going to trade for Kyrie. You don't even know if he's going to be there for the entire time. Like, they're not going to do that. This is the fact of the matter. If Kyrie Irving does not play with the Brooklyn Nets, the Clippers are going to win the NBA championship. My biggest worry was, would they be able to overcome the trio of James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant? I thought that would have been a tall order, right? That would have been a tall order for the Clippers. But if you're telling me Kyrie Irving is not playing, the Clippers are going to win the NBA championship this year. It's going to piss a lot of people off. I don't care at all. The Clippers are going to beat the Lakers this year if Kawhi Leonard comes back healthy. You can book it. Have y'all seen what Russell Westbrook has been doing? 15 turnovers in the first 2 games. Have y'all seen Russell Westbrook? No, I'm not saying 15. 20 turnovers in 3 preseason games. 20? Have y'all seen him? I don't think I don't think Russell Westbrook is the guy for the Lakers, and I think some Laker fans are horrified with this guy. Let's just be honest. My opinion, this is what I think. I think once Kawhi Leonard comes back, the Clippers are going to win the entire thing. They could have won it last year if he hadn't gotten injured. And I know a lot of people can say, well, if AD didn't get injured, LeBron James, fine. I think they're going to win the entire thing. Nick Wright knows that. He's fully aware of that. There's no way he will look at the Lakers, see how they're playing right now and say, you know what? They're definitely going to win. No, they're not. He's trying to take the Clippers off the board. That's exactly what he's doing. That trade, nobody's going to go for that trade. Nobody is going for that trade. Even Chris Broussard later shot down the idea, said, Nick, no, please go sit down and drink some tea. Please don't come up here and waste our time with these foolish suggestions. So that's what I think. I think Nick Wright can see the writing on the wall. Although the Brooklyn Nets may be weakened, but I'm sure he's looking at the Lakers and saying, this is not what we gambled for. They would have been better off getting somebody else than Russell Westbrook. And to me, let me say it again. If the Nets are not going to have Kyrie Irving, I'm picking the Clippers to win it all if Kawhi Leonard gets back. That's just me. Some of y'all can disagree, and we all have the right. That's why sports, that's why they have, 28, 30 teams. So everybody has a right to choose whatever team they want. And this is the team I chose. So whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.